dance over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come.
You may not think that a kid like me knows what Straight No Chaser is, but I do. It's music that can make you stop in your tracks. It's 10 guys with 10 microphones and a lot of talents. Straight No Chaser is a 10-guy a cappella group who started as undergraduates at the Indiana University in the 90s and got together because they all love to sing. And that's exactly what they'll be doing tonight at the Moore Theater in Seattle, Washington, as part of their national tour. This is Brennan LaBrie, Kid Reporter, and huge fan of Straight No Chaser. So how do you guys pick the songs you sing?
That's kind of various between all of us. We suggest songs that we like or that we've listened to together, and then usually it's Dan or Walt or Ryan here who actually arrange the songs onto paper for us to perform.
And who works out the harmonies? You all do?
I'd say usually it's these three right here. The three culprits are right here.
How do you do it?
Well, a lot of us kind of grew up studying music and being playing instruments and everything, so we kind of have known each other for a while too, so we know each other's voices and how they're going to fit well on what song. And really it's just a matter of getting a good arrangement and getting it together. I mean, there is some stuff that the group decides all together, some of the form of the song or what we're going to do here or there. So pretty fun creative process.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And who came up with the name Straight No Chaser for the group?
Well, Charlie did. Yeah.
It's actually a Thelonious Monk jazz song, and we got the name. We liked it. It fit with how we, we have no instruments behind us. We're just voices. So Straight No Chaser worked perfectly.
Straight with no chaser.
No chaser,
yeah,
exactly.
That's right. And how long do you see yourselves doing this sort of thing?
Hundreds of years. Personally, I don't know how long they're going to live.
But I would guess that would be the best goal to have.
Absolutely right.
Which of you, as a kid, thought that you would grow up and have a career in music?
Ever since I was the age of 2, I knew that this is what I was going to be doing. Took a long time to get there, but I'm finally here now.
What'd you start out singing?
Oh, Sound of Music was one of my favorites.
And what is you guys' biggest goal at Straight No Chaser?
I think our number one goal is to have a platinum record. That means to sell 1 million copies of one album. If we've done that, then I think that shows that we've gone mainstream completely.
I guess that would be easy with as great of an album as you guys have.
Well, that's nice of you to say, but keep in mind that a cappella music really isn't a mainstream genre of music. You don't really hear it on the radio at all.
Right. Right. You hear kind of the highly processed sort of pop music if you go on. And of course you also hear rap and hip hop and all that stuff.
Right, so you don't really hear a lot of organic music like this when it's just all voices, so we're trying to change that.
I also really like how you guys can sound like instrument. We hear the original versions of your songs, then we hear the version of yours, and then sometimes we forget that there are no instruments.
Right.
And that's one of the questions. Who does the bass? Who does the bass?
Charlie and Randy right here. We split the time.
Yeah, it sounds just so real.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we are real.
That's right. Do you have to go do some really special techniques with the microphones to achieve sounding like a bass?
Well, we use different mics that pick up that low end register than the tenors do. But other than that, it's just we record first thing in the morning when we're tired and our voices are nice and low, and works out that way.
Good. Yeah.
Down to the car, there's a hole in the roof. My possessions and cars and business visions and there's no in the papers today, tales of war and always, but you turn out to the TV. Hey now, don't keep it over. Hey now, when the world comes in, they come.
Is it important to the group that there are 10 voices? If there was 9, would anything be lost, and what would that be?
I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, I don't know. I think 10's a good number as far as I think because with male voices you have the 4 parts. The bass, baritone, tenor 1, tenor 2, and I think that gives us with the 4 parts. Times 2 is 8, so we have double those parts. And then we have 2 more guys left over to kind of swing here and there and go to different places. So I think 10's a good number for that because you have room for solo, you have room for vocal percussion, which simulates drums in some songs, and so I think 10 is about the perfect number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you see the future music? You know, for a long time it was, when you turn the radio, you would hear mostly rap and hip-hop. And now, when you turn the radio, you'll hear a lot of highly processed music. Where do you think music will go next?
Wow. I'd like to hope that music will come back to its core a little bit, which is, if you look through, things go in cycles, and it would be nice to think that we're starting a phase of bringing back real harmony and real music to the mainstream. I think that, it's nice to hear things that are polished and shiny on the radio, but I think that sometimes the most interesting type of music is the stuff that isn't as polished, when you go see someone live and you just know that it's good music. So I'm hoping that harmonies if it was up to me, it would be good harmony music and good stuff with good artists, acoustic rock and that kind of thing.
I think that there's going to be a need for more of a raw sound like we're doing with no instruments and real good harmonies and real good singers. But I still feel that the process stuff is still going to be there. So there's going to be two roads. There's going to be the polished stuff, and there's going to be the stuff kind of that we do that hopefully can coexist and each can do well on its own.
Yeah. Well, even that, I guess, is kind of like vegetables. They're even better raw. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Sure. I sang as a kid. I was very fortunate. I grew up in a very musical family. My mom always played the piano. My dad was a singer. So I grew up in choirs at church and through school and different stuff like that. So I was very in plays and musicals and stuff as a kid. So I was very active as a kid, and that's why I'm here today. So.
Yeah.
I actually tried out for choir as a joke in 7th grade with some of my buddies. And actually one of them, Mike, who's in the group, he and I tried out together, and we actually just ended up loving singing and performing. And we did some shows in high school and around our community. And, it's definitely something to say that no matter what you're passionate about, I think if you have a family and parents that support it, you're going to succeed in it. If you really have that drive and that passion and your parents are behind you 100%, you'll go far.
Yeah.
I used to sing, I started singing when I was 6 or 7, and my parents just told me to, start singing the national anthem. I was on a swim team, and I used to start singing the national anthem at swim teams when I was like 6 years old, and then I started singing with my choir at my elementary school, and I've been singing ever since.
And what would your advice be to kids? Because one of the reasons that really got me excited about this is that with Time for Kids, they encourage girls to get into sports by doing big features on girl Olympians at the Olympics.
Cool.
And I would also like to encourage boys to get into singing and choir and the arts because, for example, Queen singing "We Will Rock You" and "We Are the Champions." All my friends love that. They would so love to be rock stars. And I say, okay, well, you start in choir. No, they won't do it.
Yeah.
Not at all. And so, what advice would you have for kids and especially boys who to encourage them to get into music, who would want to be in music?
That's a great question, Brennan. I would say listen to yourself and not so much what your friends think. Because I remember some of my friends from 4th grade, but your friends will change. Your family stays the same. And like I said before, if your family is supportive of what you're doing, go for it. Never look back. And I think you should definitely have some goals in mind for yourself. Like Dan said earlier in the interview, we'd like to have a platinum album. That's something that we all would say, man, that'd be so cool to go for. But it wouldn't have started had we not taken the risk for Walt to sing in front of his swim team and for Tyler to get up at church and sing and for me to try out for choir, So I would say just go ahead and do it. Don't worry too much about what your friends think. Worry about what you think and what your family thinks.
Yeah, that's good advice.